The whole idea of Christ is the Answer Ministries, then known as Nairobi Pentecostal Church, beginning a congregation in Nakuru, had been simmering in the late 1990s and early 2000s. The church was very aware that with its calling and mission to urban populations, Nakuru town, which is the fourth largest city in Kenya, would be an appropriate location for a congregation.
Citam Nakuru has a very special place in my heart because when I became Bishop of Citam in 2010, soon after, the first church plant that we had was Citam Nakuru.
It wasn't until the year 2000 when Absalom and Flora Mungalisi moved to Nakuru from Nairobi that this idea began to crystallize.
My name is Elder Flora Mungalisi. I'm an elder by virtue of having been an elder who retired recently, but currently I'm in the Holy Communion ministry. I want to say Citam has been my church since 1979. When Citam came, it was like I'm back home.
I remember I would pass through, and I was just talking to a colleague from Kenya here the other day and mentioning about this Nakuru, and they were saying, yes, I remember when we used to pass through there and you'd be telling me the story of this, how you felt it was to be kept for property, and now, and when are Citam, when are they going to do it? When is this church going to be developed? But finally, it was done. And it's so exciting to see the fulfillment of that which God had put in my heart. And it wasn't once that God spoke to me as I passed through Nakuru, back and forth. The Holy Spirit was confirming, like in the Bible, there are many people in this place.
Reverend Joseph Zavi remembers that before Citam Nakuru congregation began, Citam mobilized pastors to visit the grounds and pray there.
There is a time we used to have a retreat. We had a retreat in Nakuru, and the whole pastoral team and the leadership, we came to that land in Nakuru. Oh, the moment I saw the land, I just said, woe unto him who will be sent to come and set the church.
On one of the days when he was serving at Citam Woodley as the deputy senior pastor, the current Citam Bishop, Reverend Callisto Odede, handed him a letter from the Bishop Emeritus David Oginde, which sent him to Nakuru for a church plant. Bishop David Oginde would also encourage him and commission him for the work ahead.
Let me take this opportunity to thank Bishop Oginde for trusting me and really believing in me more than I believed in myself.
In the year 2011, after getting the land, Citam decided to send Reverend Joseph Zavi as a senior pastor, accompanied by Reverend Joshua Nyamu, who was the youth pastor, to establish a congregation in Nakuru. They were accompanied by Janet and Chacha as the administrator and caretaker, respectively.
We were to start the service 2 months after. But I remember one of the Sundays when we were following one another going to a church in town. Then we saw a number of around 4 cars outside the gate of our church. And when we called the guard, he told us, these people are here for a service. So we were forced to start the service the following Sunday.
I remember one member by the name Joseph Maniki came and he said, I was just driving around and I've been looking for a church. Then I heard people making noise. And the moment I came in, I just knew this was my church. You see, divine connection, people being brought by God.
Our first slogan when we started Citam Nakuru was, where no one stands alone. That was our slogan. Citam Nakuru, where no one stands alone. And imagining and seeing people grow in different areas, I've seen it to be the church where I belong.
The church started in a small tent, and the growth was so fast. Every week, Pastor Nzavi had to go to Nairobi to look for more chairs. Until the bishop was wondering, what is happening in Nakuru?
The Reverend then began mobilizing the church under another slogan that we are building a 30,000-seater cathedral. This meant that everyone was very focused on evangelism to get the 30,000 members.
Because of the teaching, God has helped us as members. We are able to reach out even to the community around. I know the word is preached in other quarters, but I want to say, Citam, there's so much teaching. We get more of teaching in Citam, and where you are taught, where you are learning each and every moment, you are bound to stay.
I met my beautiful cousin, and when I met her, I told her I'm looking for a church, and she told me, do you know what, there is a church that has come to town. It's new in town, it's barely 1 year old, and I think you will love that church. Guess what? When I came, and the moderator of the service that day, and when he just said, your search for a church has come to an end, when he was telling the new visitors, my goodness, I thought he was only talking to me.
The initial stages were, however, not without challenges.
Mighty wind that came. Brothers and sisters, you remember the story, those who are there. And it took the small tent before the big one, the 500-seater came. The one we got from Parklands, the one we were meeting next to the gate. And it was lifted up like a parachute. And it was placed right on top of the transformer, the one at the gate there. And it was placed on top right there. And we said, wow, what a transfiguration.
Some of the great milestones for the Citam Church in Nakuru over this period include the very first DVBS session held by Citam Nakuru. The amazing family fun days by the whole congregation. In December 2014, Rev Nzavi left Citam Nakuru and was replaced by Rev Anthony McKenna, a tall brown man with a great command of the pulpit and oratory skills.
I have restored him to the place of honor and dignity. He is not you, he is still my son. Therefore you go bring the garment to him. Because once my son was lost, but he is found. He was dead, but he is alive.
When the decision to lead Citam Nakuru was communicated to us, the wise thing to do, which we did, was to get into prayer. And the instruction by the Lord was two-way. Internally, the instruction was change the church from inside to the outside. And externally, the instruction was very clear. I want Citam Nakuru to be a witness in the county and a testimony in the country.
Reverend McKenna also remembers the introduction of a worship service with just a sermonette during every first Sunday of the month.
We had very many spiritual and unusual breakthroughs in Citam Nakuru, but one that has remained is the conviction that every first Sunday of the month, when we have Holy Communion, that we should have a worship experience.
The dedication of the Citam school office and the school bus.
We enjoyed the day we dedicated the office of the principal. When we went, he didn't have an office, he had 3 staff. And so when we were able to put the office together and were able to dedicate it, that was also a very, very enjoyable moment.
My name is Elkanah Osiru. I am a teacher by profession, having taught in Citam schools. I do remember having sent in this mission field from Buruburu to come and pioneer Citam schools in Nakuru. But I would go and clinch back to the Bible and hear what God was speaking for Nakuru. He did assure me, just the way Abraham was promised, the school currently has quite a number of students.
On 1st April 2019, Citam Nakuru got a new senior pastor, Reverend Jeffrey Ongondo. Rev Jeffrey was, however, not new to the congregation since he had served as deputy senior pastor in the same congregation from November 2015.
So I served as the deputy senior pastor at Citam Nakuru from then up to the end of March, or let me say from 1st of April 2019, when it pleased the Lord and the Council of Elders of Citam to ask me or allow me to lead the church as senior pastor.
He went to every extent possible to minister to families, reconciling many and rejuvenating many more to God's service.
Hii kofi ya jaba mnakunywa inaisha, mwaka inaisha, mwaka ya pili inaisha, na hakuna kitu mnasema mnafanya. Wachani na hiyo chai. Sister, if the man is not speaking, but you are taking coffee every week, sister, and God has spoken into your heart, speak.
Reverend Ongondo served with his wife, Reverend Jane Ongondo, who was the children pastor and a long-serving head of children ministry in the whole of Citam Church.
I also know some highlights, especially because my children, when we joined this church, they were less than 10 years old, but now they are all teenagers. In fact, I remember one time when my son shared the pulpit and he gave a short sermonette, and there are people who got saved.
Among the greatest of the challenges that the congregation faced during his tenure was the closure of the in-person church services after the first COVID-19 case was discovered in Kenya on the 13th of March 2020.
The onset of Corona was a serious challenge. Can you imagine? Being told not going to church was for me one of the most difficult and challenging moments. But by God's grace, we surmounted, and we are grateful to God for His blessings.
Reverend Ongondo prays and hopes that Citam Nakuru will see a new impetus of growth with the coming of the new senior pastor, Reverend Sarah Kamau, who began ministry in the congregation on the 1st of August 2021.
Thank you, Citam Nakuru. We pray that God may continue to help you as you hold the hands of Pastor Sarah Kamau. So may God bless you, and we thank God for you. Great is God's faithfulness to Citam Nakuru.
Reverend Sarah Kamau comes into Citam Nakuru as the first lady senior pastor.
My name is Reverend Sarah Kamau. It's an exciting time because at the same time, Nakuru County is being set to be a city. I see us planting more churches in Nakuru. By the way, according to our strategic plans, after 10 years of an assembly's existence, it is like to plant another Citam assembly within their locality. That's where we are at Citam Nakuru.
In the next 10 years, I'll be on that path of living a full lifespan. And I'm hoping there'll still be golden ages in the church, because the old generation tells the next generation about the mighty deeds that the Lord has done, the faithfulness of God.
Fulfill the intention in the heart of the Lord. Remain a credible witness in the county and continue to be a testimony in the country.
I'm looking forward where we have relationship amongst the members, but above all, the cathedral.
My name is Anjiko Moshiri, 10 years. Celebrating 10 years with Citam Nakuru is a blessing to me. Back then, we had tents for our Sunday school services, but now we have classes and even a school. I want to tell Citam Nakuru, happy 10th anniversary.
I would like to wish everyone who is a member of Citam Nakuru and Citam at large, and especially Citam Nakuru, a happy 10th anniversary.
Let's take this opportunity to refocus, to renew our commitment under the new pastor. You even have a new pastor coming in just at this critical time. I believe that this is a great opportunity that God is going to take this ministry to the next level. Mine is to pray for you that the hand of God that has taken you through these 10 years will now lift you up, and the glory of the latter house will be greater than the glory of the former house. We are going to see great things. God bless you, and may the hand and favor of God be upon Citam Nakuru.
We wish you happy anniversary, every one of us, particularly our little children and our youth, our future. Happy anniversary to every one of us.